same-sex marriage. This week, the Supreme Court heard cases on California's Prop 8. It banned same-sex marriages in California. The court also heard arguments on the Defense of Marriage Act. The law defines a marriage as a union between a man and a woman. Now the court must rule on both cases. Political science professor Jason Johnson is here. Always good to see you.
Good to see you. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you as well. All right, we're talking about this topic, very emotional on both sides. How do you think the hearings went? Do you think they're going to make any decision anytime soon?
I don't think anyone can guess. I mean, we learned last year with the health care ruling, if you had gambled on how they were going to vote, everybody would have lost money. So I don't think it's abundantly clear from what they've said. But constitutionally, I think DOMA's on its way out, and I think Proposition 8 will probably stand, or they'll just sort of push that case back down to a lower court.
And let's take a look now. I want to show you the latest CNN poll. 56% of Americans believe the federal government should recognize same-sex marriages. 43% disagree. All right, 56% say yes, the government should recognize this. Why isn't that there? It decides it right there.
Right.
Shouldn't that be the issue on what the majority think?
Well, not really, because the Supreme Court never cares about what the majority thinks. It's their job to be completely objective. But that's where I think the constitutional issue comes in, because if you look at DOMA, that says that, you know, a marriage is only between a man and a woman. And right now what happens is if you got married as a gay couple in Iowa, your marriage doesn't count in Texas. That doesn't make any sense. A contract in one state should exist as a contract in another. And I think constitutionally, that's where we're going to see the court step in. They don't really care about public opinion.
On Tuesday, Justice Kennedy suggested that the court should dismiss the case. Justice Scalia saying it's too late for that now, isn't it? We have crossed that river. It seems, are they almost hesitant about this? Is this difficult for the Supreme Court?
I think it's hesitant and curious as to why they're even bothering with this kind of case. I think that comes into play. Here's the thing. How people feel about homosexuality personally and how they feel about these constitutional issues is really where this comes into play. Most Americans, most straight Americans are still uncomfortable. They still think homosexuality is strange, but our belief ethically and how America is supposed to work says anyone should have a right to get married. And that's what I think we're sometimes hearing in their questions.
That's the argument. There's equal rights that they should have and be able to marry and get the benefits as a heterosexual couple. How can they argue against that?
Because you have some people in this country who still think we live in a theocracy. And that's really all that applies here. As a constitutional matter, this is not a question. People can get married. If you can find a priest who says he wants to marry you or she wants to marry you, it's a set deal. And I think that's what the Supreme Court is sort of wrestling with. They're like, do we even have to tell you people this? This should be common sense.
And how long are we looking at here? Months before a decision?
I don't think it's necessarily going to take that long. I think that the Supreme Court is probably going to address this sometime by the summer. We will get an answer one way or another, even if it's just kicking a can down the road, and that is also a possibility.
All right, Jason Johnson, always good to get your point of view on it.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Thanks. A teenager with